Hi everyone, I'm Sunny and today's video will be about how your life would be as a celeb. So I have 3 piles you guys can choose from left to right, pile 1, 2, and 3. So you're more than welcome to pause the video if you need more time. Otherwise, I will start with the first pile. So pile number 1, I'm gonna cover this card. I need to remember to do that more often. You guys have the star card upright. So let me cover that. Sorry, I'm trying my best to be faster. And then the next card is the Wheel of Fortune upright. So, with these cards, I think it would be a whirlwind change. I don't think you would have expected it. So like when, and if you do, right, in this made up scenario, if you were to be a celeb, you would be someone that would have their life instantly change. And sure, it could be positive, but I think it might be, I don't think it would have prepared you enough to actually withstand maybe the privacy issue. With the star upright also, I feel like because you would be a very influential person, and sure, it could be really nice to have the attention on you in the spotlight when it comes to your work or your craft, right? But I mean, who's to say what kind of celeb you would be, right? It doesn't always have to be that because of your expertise. It could be also because of your drama, or it could also be because you're someone that maybe writes stuff about celebs themselves. So like you could be a celeb by association, but I do think you would be the main star. I feel like you would be center stage. So whether it's within that field or in the field of very well-known worldwide celebrities, I do think it would be the main person overall. However, I don't know whether you would like this because I think it would make you much more on edge, not anxious, but on edge to really figure out who's the person you can trust and who's the person that's really in it for the right reasons. And that's why it can be like, sure, the Wheel of Fortune upright can mean positive changes that are kind of drastic and coming and going, someone that's always on the move. However, I do think it's like you can take it, but that doesn't mean you enjoy it all the time. There will be moments in time where I do feel that you might not like how little control you sometimes have over these things because people will make those changes for you, or they might make you even bigger than you are, and that can cross boundaries of what you feel comfortable with. I do feel your emotional safe space might just be something that you have to kind of keep to yourself or like withdraw, but I do think you know how to handle that. The star card upright feels like you know how to handle the influence you have over people, so you know how to opinionate when it's right, or how much you should not say, because you know how easily that can trigger masses and crowds to like agree with you or disagree and turn against you. It's like you just know how to be, sometimes, for the most part, I feel like you can be level-headed, but from time to time, I do think that can get to your head and make you realize that maybe you're a little bit out of touch from time to time. That doesn't mean it's always like great. Sometimes these scenarios are realistic in that way, where you will have your moments where you're really great and living it up and having a good time, and then there's other scenarios where you're jaded and you're disappointed or uninterested in the fakeness of it. I do think for the most part you would enjoy it, but I do think it would be one of those changes that you didn't see coming, and if it was a change that you saw coming, it just feels like maybe you would have some anxieties over it. There's just like tension. I don't know why I keep thinking of tension in this pile. That's like, I like it, but I'm scared because I don't know if they like me for the persona that I'm putting out or for the person that I am outside of the cameras, right? In that sphere, the media sphere. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that pile number 1. It's very cute. Yeah, I do think you're gonna be one of a kind. Before I go to the next pile, I do think overall that you're the kind of person that would stand out and you would be hard to miss, and I do think that's why they would recognize you. You have a recognizable face, including body physique, so even the way you speak, I do think it's like it stands out in that way where you don't look like the people around you. You just have this extra, how could I say, extra touch of like etherealness, where like mysteriousness. There's a touch of mysteriousness with you, and that's why people would gravitate to you. It's like, who is this person? Where did they come from, and how did they get here? Or who do they know that they got here from? Like, how did they get this connection, this position, this power? It just feels like that. Very influential person, well connected with people, someone that's in touch with their creativity. So that's why I feel like you'd be in a creative sphere with other people, like-minded people, and you would be an incredibly influential person within the realm that you are deciding to be famous for. So thank you, Pal 1. Pal number 2, you guys have the magician, the magician, and the Queen of Pentacles. I always say words weird sometimes, and I don't know why. So how your life would be as a celebrity, I do think you would be very frugal, and in a good way, because I feel that you would work hard at what you're doing, and maybe it could even be behind the scenes, or like imagine yourself being like a screenwriter or director, or someone that's the person who's making music for, I forgot what they're called. They're making motion picture soundtracks and stuff like that. Someone who's working, maybe, who has attention on them, who's recognized and respected. But I think it's a position where you are a little bit more respected because of your work and boundaries. So that's why it's like you would be in the main sphere in that sense, but it's like not necessarily because you're the person who's behind the screen or something, like a music video, for example. It feels like maybe you're the person creating it, and they know you by association, like, oh, you're the person who made this video. Okay, cool. So like they know what they're doing. It just feels like your craft would take you there. And even if it's not these kinds of realms, it just feels like the celeb world, whatever you consider a celeb world, even if it's like a sports realm, you're the person who's helping the like a personal trainer, or you're someone that's the news anchor who's basically giving out the details on the games and stuff. Like you're someone that's recognizable and respected in that way. Slow and steady work, so I feel like they would respect you in that way. But I do think that once you start gaining traction of money and stuff and income, you're someone that would kind of save it. You wouldn't necessarily waste it like dumbly. I think you would wait until you're older, in a few years. Like even if you're like in your 30s and 40s, you would be someone that will kind of wait until like their 60s, 50s to actually waste something, because you want to make sure that your bills are paid. And I do think that you'd like to live below your means so that you can save more money, so that you're not worrying about it later on when you might not have the best abilities to continue to work and stuff. So that's cool. I do think overall that you would be someone that's very sophisticated. I think this pal gives me sophisticated, smart person vibes. The magician upright, it's like you would wonder people. I do think there's something about you that's the way you make money, or the way you entice people to respect you and take you seriously is interesting. I think there's something you must be good at with your skills. Maybe it's like financial skills. Maybe it's because you have well-respected connections, or how you appear, even how you dress, your persona can be very reliable and charismatic. There's a softer charisma here, but still respectable. Very motherly, and you don't have to be a feminine to understand that, but very maternal, strong, or you could be surrounded by strong maternal energy, or strong women, or work in those associations as a celeb, right? Like example, like working in like the UN and stuff, like someone that's caring for other people and still being respected. I think of Amal Clooney too at that. She has so many titles on her name. She's incredibly well respected throughout the world for her charitable donations and for her social work. So she is a person to be respected. So it gives off that energy that you are someone that they can rely on. It feels like your life as a celeb would be nice and steady. Maybe not like superstar in like intensely, like from day to night, like being well known all around, but you would build up to it, where it's like you would make a name for yourself to be recognized with, and that's nice. I think you would enjoy it overall. So, do take what resonates. This is kind of like a slower, calmer lifestyle compared to the first one. very chill, and it feels like you can take work and then relax when you want to and need to. So next, pile number 2, your life as a celeb. How would it be? You guys have the death card in internal, death card reverse, and the 7 of Swords reversed. So, pile number, why did I want to see 7? Pile number 3, I do not think you would feel that amazing when it comes to being a celeb. I do think you would have to undergo a lot of changes and changing in perspectives and philosophies and how you approach people, but I do think you would not enjoy it overall. I do think it has to do with the fact that you would have a lot of anxiety, very anxious. You would have a lot of triggers. Like, I feel like because you keep things to yourself, your problems, and that's respectable, you don't have to tell everybody what's going on with you or what happened in your past. I think that would trigger you because it would be put on the spotlight, and you would try to protect that because that's your safe zone, that's your privacy, that's your background. It's not what you try to share with people, and people would try to dig in and try to like maybe leverage that against you, or maybe just use that against you in the way where like you did this or you did that or this happened to you. Like, they either want to help you or want to destroy you. So it's like one of those things where you kind of would battle it out, like, this isn't good. It wouldn't be that necessarily the healthiest environment for you, because with the 7 of Swords reversed, I do think that you would have a lot of anguish, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, paranoia. Like, it eats you out a lot when it comes to your problems, and I do think people would try to sabotage you because you are someone that would be very powerful and influence, but the problem is because you have a little bit of self-confidence issues, a little bit of trust issues, you really beat yourself down and critique yourself a lot, and that can be self-sabotaging tendencies, and you might fall into the wrong crowds or the wrong people that might lead you astray or show you avenues that are not helpful to you, introducing you to the party life or substances or having a good time or being sneaky or doing stuff, you know, how does that go? That saying, what you do in the shadows, right? At night. It feels like you would try to hide a lot of your sabotaging tendencies. I'm trying to find the proper words, but yeah, I don't think you would have a voice. I think you would struggle to find a voice within yourself in that sphere, because you would find it very toxic. Sure, it can be, you can take that in the best way, and like sometimes it can be like that, but in the best way, you would take that and be more private and more protective and try to be sneaky away from people to like not to establish boundaries where they can't cross. Like, this is your safe zone, please don't cross that. Like, my work can be public, but my private life is my own. It can be great in that way, but there's 2 sides to this, and it feels like in extremes. Sometimes you would like it, sometimes you would hate it. There's no in between. Sometimes it can be toxic, sometimes it can be helpful, and reaching out people and letting them know they're not alone, and people like advocating for you and vice versa. And sure, you can have your hands at everything, a little bit of everything. It's very airy energy, but it can be very transformative, but it can be scary, and it can be isolating. I do feel that you would feel alone, and you wouldn't easily find a voice to be heard. So that's why I don't necessarily think you would enjoy your life as a celeb, but it would be very transformative for you and for others, and maybe because you would set the example of what to do or not to do, that people might learn a lot from you. But it can be something that can be very self-destructive to you. Having your privacy being invaded and not allowing you to reach that topic yourself, like the trauma, for example, can be triggering and scary because people would not respect you, not allow you to kind of heal on your own. It can be healing, but it can be, you know, cutting to your soul. Very, very psychological, deep wounds here. And it can be triggered a lot by people and by others, by people starting drama with you, by people talking bad about you, by you being sneaky, by all these toxic things that you would really have to encompass the best of scorpionic energy to really thrive. But it would take you a very long time. I don't think this would be as fast as you think it could. Like, usually Pluto energy builds up, and I think unfortunately it would take even longer to build up to the best potential. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content, and thank you so much. So bye everyone.